changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your Chicken Soup for the Soul. And today we're talking about positive thinking again, because after all, it's the new year, and that's when we talk about such things. And our new book about 101 Ways to Think Positive will definitely give you lots of great ideas for the new year, for ways to adopt a new attitude, to be more optimistic as you approach the ups and downs of life. And then how about this idea? Motivation to reach out and make new friends and be open to even the most unlikely people. So in our first story, Eva Carter tells us that she was being forced to fly from Dallas to Montreal to meet her new husband's family and friends. Her French wasn't great, and she wouldn't know anyone. And to make it worse, she'd be meeting her husband Larry's first wife. And she had remained very close to his family because she was friends with Larry's sister. And also Larry's sister had married her brother, so that she was really tight with this family. And everyone in the family loved her. Her name was Joan, and Eva was going to feel like the outsider, even though she was the one who was Larry's wife now. So at the first event in Montreal, a barbecue, Eva was left alone for half an hour while Larry talked to all the people he knew and hadn't seen for years. And she could tell that everyone was looking at her and checking her out, the new wife. And then this really nice lady approached Eva. And surprisingly, she was wearing the exact same outfit as Eva. They had both bought their outfits at Walmart, as it turned out. And the two of them hit it off right away. And that nice lady took Eva around and introduced her to people. And she had a son in Dallas. So Eva invited her to come for dinner when she next went to Dallas. And when that lady showed up at Eva's place in Dallas, she was once again wearing the same outfit as Eva. These two ladies were very compatible. And when that nice lady asked if she could throw a birthday party for her son at Eva and Larry's house, Eva said yes. Well, you may have guessed by now that that very nice lady was Larry's first wife. And Eva really liked her. And she asked Larry, why did you get divorced? And Larry didn't really have an answer. So Eva figured, they were just young when they got married. And whatever broke them up didn't matter anyway at this point. What was important was that the marriage had yielded 3 children, and that yielded 5 grandchildren for Eva, and something else as well, a new friend. Patricia Sedke-Rudowski shares another story about an unlikely friendship. In her case, it was her neighbor Helen, who had a very bad reputation. Patricia had actually been warned about her when she bought her house. She was told to stay away from that disheveled, grumpy old woman next door. But Patricia tried. She didn't want to pass judgment on someone based on hearsay. So she had reached out to her neighbor on their move-in day, only to be met by stony-faced silence. So that put Patricia on the defensive, and she decided to just leave that woman alone and try to avoid her. And that did seem like the right decision over time, because that grumpy lady next door would berate the neighborhood children and adults for crimes such as a toddler spilling some pretzels on the street. And then Patricia and her husband were putting on this big party for her 40th birthday. So they actually got a permit from the town to close off their street so their party could overflow from their property onto the street. And when the grumpy neighbor saw the police putting up barricades, she started screaming and arguing with the police. Patricia's mother jumped in. She went over to Helen and started talking to her. And then all of a sudden, Patricia saw the women hug. Well, now she was confused. How did grumpy Helen turn into her mom's new pal? Well, her mom came back over and explained that this poor woman had been raised in an orphanage. Her husband had died 15 years ago. And then she had gotten a new man in her life, and he had just died. And she felt very alone. And Patricia's mom said, sometimes it's just interesting to see what's going on in people so we can understand them better. And her mom ended up taking a plate of party food over to Helen, the neighbor. And then halfway through the party, Helen started dancing to the music on her front lawn. Well, everything changed after that, and Helen and Patricia became friends, and the whole neighborhood became a happier place. And Patricia says this, "It was a great lesson for the kids. By using patience, compassion, and understanding, we were able to turn an unproductive relationship into a functioning one. I was 40 years old and still learning from my mother. Sometimes all that anyone needs, even those who seem unapproachable, is a caring heart and someone to listen." I'm Amy Newmark. Thanks for listening today. If you have your own stories to tell, you can visit our website, chickensoup.com, and check out the Submit Your Story section. We're collecting stories for several new books, and with 101 stories in each book, that means there are hundreds of opportunities for you to become a published author with Chicken Soup for the Soul. And you'll find in the Submit Your Story section our writing guidelines, our list of topics, and this little form that you fill in with your contact information and your story. Also, I want to mention that if you'd like to receive a free Chicken Soup for the Soul story every day in your email, you can sign up for our newsletter, and you could pick out whether you want a daily story, just a weekly one, and also if you want stories about specific topics. We have newsletters about pets, raising children, going through cancer, and faith and spirituality. And please come back for our next episode to hear from Ashanti Ford. She wrote in our new book about her journey from intern to national television news reporter in Washington, D.C.